So here's the script I wrote for a customer requesting a custom categorization of GD&T results based on each GD&T status of pass, warning, fail, or no result. For the sake of time, I'll answer any questions at the end of the webinar. So in Control X, the warning zone is defined by a setting called the warning ratio. And here I have it hard coded as the default at 50%. But a user can change it to whatever they like by changing this value here to a value to a decimal between 0 and 1. And here I have a function that takes a tolerance range and a deviation and determines whether that deviation is within or outside of the tolerance range, and then returns a true or false Boolean value. And so some of the things you can query using textual scripting in your CX project file is the active result, and which is whichever result you have selected, and the name of that result. And so this is what I'm doing with these two lines. Another thing you can query are all of the GD&T features within a result. So like the linear dimensions, radial dimensions, flatness, or datums, perpendicularity, all of that. And here it's outputting it as a dictionary. And here what I'm doing is I'm creating lists for each category to store these GD&T values in. And so that's what this loop is doing here. It's going through every dictionary key value pair, and eventually it's going to categorize them in these lists. And so what I'm doing here is excluding datums because they don't have any deviations or measurement values. And so what I'm doing with this section here is I'm using the name of the GD&T feature I have from my dictionary of GD&Ts, so I can grab its attribute, which I can then use to query its tolerance value. Another way to say this is that I'm looking up each feature by name and then grabbing its tolerance value. And so some GD&T features have deviation value properties and some have a measurement value properties. And you can't, of course, if it doesn't have one or the other, then you can't query it. And so I'm having the script try to query the deviation value property first. And then if it can't, I'm having it go to this exception block in which it tries to query the measured value property. And so other than that, this section is the same for each block. And so this is the part where it actually does the sorting, where it sees whether the deviation is in tolerance or out of tolerance, and then categorizes it based on that. And so that's happening in each block. And then down here from line 99 onward, I'm recording these GD&T lists, categorized lists in a CSV file. And so here I'm assuming that the user wants to save this file in their downloads folder, but they can change that if they'd like by changing this file path variable. So, and then in this block, we're actually writing the CSV file. And so it's iterating through each list, categorized list, and each GD&T feature in that list to record it in the CSV. And so if I run this now, I can show you what that looks like. So you can see here that it's going through each GD&T feature, starting with the datums. It's just kind of skipping them. And so here it's looking at the flatness one and then assigning it to the warning group, looking at the linear dimension one and assigning it, and so forth. And then at the very bottom here, it's telling me where it saved that CSV file. So if I go there now and refresh here, you can see that it's named after the results name, the CSV file. And so if I launch this, you can see what it actually looks like. And so I have my past GD&T, my warning GD&T, and then that I don't have any failed GD&T.